This is the video review of the Go Rotor from Engine Sentai Go Onger, also known as the Rototax Zord from Power Rangers RPM. Right next to it you can see its cousin figure, the Tackle Boy from O-Ranger, also known as the Warrior Wheel from Power Rangers Zeo. Now, it's sort of interesting how the concept of a wheel mecha has changed in Sentai over the years, where this thing is meant to actually roll around. It stays on its side because it's very flat, whereas this one was meant to fall. The idea was you would roll around a bit, then it would turn around, and then it would do that. Now this guy, he is meant to, the rolling is actually meant to be a play feature. It's not just, oh, it rolls because it's a wheel, obviously. What happens is, if you take his engine soul, I don't think this was actually called an engine soul, it was a, because I think it was artificial, I think it was called a token soul or something like that. I have not actually seen Go Onger, I don't know, but what would happen would be is you would put it in, and this really reminds me of Soundwave right here, and you put it in. Now, you notice there's no activation sound, whereas if you put an engine soul into any other of the 12, like if you put in Speedle, then Speedle, I love that name. If you put in Speedle, it would have an activation sound, kind of like this. Now, see, the way I activate that is there's a button down there, and the idea is, as you roll it, you'll press that button. So that as you move it, makes lights and sounds. But the other interesting thing about this is with this token soul here, what happens is, these buttons right here press the different buttons on the underside. This one makes that sound. That sound. And then this pushes both of those buttons at the same time to get... Now that's typical engine soul activity. What's interesting about this one is if you press the button after you do any of those, it'll do a different attack sound. So rather than doing the standard activation sound, now what we'll do... That's the sound you get after pushing both of those up at the same time. If you press this one, you get a different sound. And a different sound. So, depending on how you do this, then when you roll it, it kind of like does a different attack. So I think that it's sort of interesting how they brought the engine soul gimmick into this toy as more than just press a button and make sounds. It's part of the actual play pattern of this entire mode. Now, one thing that sucks about this thing, or about all engine souls, is Go Onger is a really old series now. It's not super old, but it's kind of old. So when I opened this, the little watch batteries that were inside were dead and leaking battery acid. So I had to clean them out and get some new watch batteries before this would work. So be sure to check the battery compartments of your engine souls for battery acid. This stuff's nasty and it will corrode the insides of this. So be sure to clean these and get new watch batteries if you're interested in the noise. And if you're not interested in the lights and sounds, then just remove them entirely. Anyway, put this back in. And now we can get on to the transformation of this guy. And where the Tackle Boy / Warrior Wheel was a very small thing, this is a very big thing. It's basically a Megazord size figure. Now what you do is, first you turn off your camera, obviously. And this thing right here, all it does is it sort of holds it. It's a bit of a holding stand. And it holds it pretty well, although you can roll it off. But that's all it does. Anyway, back to the transformation. What you do is you hold it straight up like this, so this sort of triangle section is pointing down. Then you bring the legs out, around, and fold up the foot. Out, around, fold up the foot. Then you'll bring the arms around, bring them down, arm around, bring it down, turn the head around, and pop the sides out. And this is the Go Rotor / the Rototax Zord in robot mode. And it's not the best looking robot mode of all time. I think it looks a bit better than this guy, who is a bit too pudgy for my taste. But it's not bad. It actually has quite a bit of articulation. The head will turn, which is fantastic for a Sentai figure. The arms go 360, they go in and out. You get elbows. The legs go in and out, rotate above the knee, then to at the knee, and it doesn't really help for anything because they're so loose, but you do get a little bit of foot movement. So he is a very well articulated Sentai figure, which is nice. However, I do have problems with him. For example, he kind of leans over, and that's because the ratchets in his legs aren't really strong enough to support his weight. You have to push him back, and then he'll stay there like that, but then it's easy for him to get pushed back over again. So that's kind of annoying, and all of his ratchets are kind of loose like this, which is super loose. You'd think it would be tight based on how loud that ratchet is, but it's not. It's just loose. Now, in this mode, you can still use the lights and sounds, but they're basically the same, and because he can no longer roll, you have to press under here to activate the attack sounds. And that's actually about all there is to the Go Rotor / Road Attack Zord. It's a pretty simple thing. It's not... It doesn't really combine with anything else. I mean, I guess if you put the engine O behind the little thing right here, you can have it kick it in the wheel mode. But that's about it. Now, I like it. I like the way it looks. It's a nice size. It looks good on the shelf. But it doesn't really have the same presence that a lot of other Sentai figures have. It looks more like a Transformer kind of, especially with this detailing right here that looks like a G1 Transformer. And then because it doesn't have a foreign back at the thigh, it ends up being kind of not a letdown, but not as much as it could be. It doesn't have the posability to back up, it not being as interesting, because the transformation is absurdly simple, and it doesn't have the... It's not as cheap as this thing was, and it doesn't have the fun of the auto transformation gimmick. So it's a little bit underwhelming, but it's not bad. So if you're into Go-Onger and you really want to get a complete set of the Go-Onger mecha, then by all means get it. If you like Power Rangers RPM and you want to get all the Zords from that, by all means get it. But by itself, it's not that great. Anyway, this has been a review of the Go Rotor. I review Power Rangers, Sentai figures, Macross figures, Transformers, lots of stuff like that. If any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe. Be sure to check the video description down below for any relevant links like to our Facebook page, and thank you for watching.